Hi everyone, welcome to KGOtakuDiary Episode 8. I know I won't upload a lot of videos, but I suddenly came up with this name and made it as the title of this program, though not a lot of people are gonna see it. Anyway, here's Yat KG. This is a video for September, but I'm recording this in August, since I'm not sure if I will forget making a video. There's the school entrance of my 5th grade at the beginning of September. Also, as the title suggests, I am gonna be talking about this anime that I have never wanted to talk about, which is my teen romantic comedy Snafu, aka my youth romantic comedy is wrong as I expected. In Japanese, it is abbreviated as Oregairu. Why I said I have never wanted to talk about this anime is because it is too unique that I don't think I can convey my feelings well to people. Moreover, a lot of people like this anime. The video is divided into two parts. The first one refers to a video on Bilibili platform. Basically, it's just like a translation of it. Thanks him for giving me permission to make it. I will put the link down below. If you're interested in, you can check it out. The second part is my personal thoughts. In the first part, I indicates the content creator on Bilibili, not me. Without further ado, let's get into the video. I don't know what the reasons are that you guys can't go out or grow out of Oregairu. In the first place, the reason that I couldn't go out was because of Higigaya Hachiman-this character. To this day, I still use him as my WeChat avatar. I personally think Oregairu is the best piece ever in anime, while other pieces are praising the warm daily lives of youth. The emergence of Oregairu gave me an epiphany. It discusses youth in another perspective and dialectically view our daily lives of youth and the problems we could encounter when we are in our teens. Push all that aside, no matter in anime or original light novel. With that, the thoughts of Oregairu towards teens' lives and presentation of school interpersonal relationships or those obscure lines of them has deeply imprinted in my teens. I was in senior 2nd grade when I first watched Oregairu. Back then, my high school life was in a transition period. Unlike other high schoolers' lives, I've changed class for 3 times. Now, looking back the period when I was in high school, it was literally filled up with bitterness and mind struggle. Before this point, the 1st grade me was goofing around with a muddle-headed mindset. Because the me back then couldn't find the meaning of national college entrance examination for me. Whereas I was a normal high schooler in a normal class in a normal high school. Half of the students in the class where I'm in don't know how their futures are gonna be. Not only is it like that, they also would not want to think about it. Every day, the students who sit in front of the classroom always skip classes. The people who seriously listen to teacher talking are a minority. As for those who sit in the back of the classroom, they either play online games on their phones secretly or sleep within the fortress that the textbooks make up. Even though the teachers standing at the podium know what the students are doing below, they have long ago given up on scolding the students. They can save some energy then, and teachers are old. Why not? This is our county town. A reality portrayal of a normal class in a normal high school. The fake effort to cope with the head teacher, the insistence to games world, the genuine yearning towards romance, then falling down badly. I was one of them, as if I was the same as them, yet not the same. I was like a paranoia when I was in high school, like I had been imagining things that didn't exist. Because of my family, in order to get away from some bad emotions, I had deeply fallen down into the Nijigen world. I started watching anime, listening to Miku's songs. But the people around are not the same. They surf on TikTok to see those trendy videos, listening to some contemporary songs sung by the popular singers that were just blowing up. After I have said all this, I believe the you in front of the screen can relate to my situation. A person like me that only plays Bilibili is not able to find self's home in such a situation. But good thing there was one person that is very into anime like me. The people in class like to call him Watermelon as a nickname. This guy is the same as me, only loves surfing on Bilibili. He watched anime together. He also wore some anime clothing that was embarrassing to death with me. Mine was printed with Izumi Sagiri, his was printed with Kurumi Tokizaki. Although now looking back on it, it was really a black story yet an intriguing youth. I was the same as Watermelon. We had trouble at school and family-wise. We too used Nichigen to find our solace. We endlessly were watching lots of trashy anime, seeing that there are a lot of such cute faces on the female characters, seeing that they wear white stockings and black stockings in anime. Our mouths were shouting, "This is my wife, that is my wife," and whatnot. We didn't have any plans for the future lives, because everyone thought 3 years of high school seemed like a lengthy time to them. When they were slack in first grade. While in a slack first grade, some people were forced to drop out of school as they had skipped too many classes. Some people chose to quit school by themselves as they hate self-studying. Some people were running around for their phones confiscated in office room. Whereas I had conversations with my head teacher 3 times since my exam results were too poor. The reason was very simple. They wanted to form a new class specializing in teaching us who hated studying, looking for a head teacher to rectify us. As you know, not asking students permission to change our classes is illegal. I also clearly knew that having changed a class is not a good result for me, so I showed the head teacher my insistence. That is, I don't change class. For the time being, my first grade was a little relieved in an invisible fight with the head teacher. Following is the upcoming second grade. At the beginning of second year, everyone was completely hyped up. Lots of students started realizing that almost half of their high school life had gone by that time. We couldn't be degenerating like this. As a result, with the first exam of second grade, everyone in the class had much better exam results than we had in first grade. It got at least higher 100 scores. Even the last one kid in the class knew the meaning of working hard on something. But this enthusiasm was just like a bubble. It had evaporated after the midterm exam. Everyone again reverted to the same as usual. I still secretly surfed on my phone during classes, playing games and watching anime. It was the period that I watched anime the most. Every time when I was back home, instead of sleeping, I stayed up late to watch anime. Until now, I still remember what the anime are that accompanied with me in those nighttime, like A Silent Voice, Scientific Railgun, Natsume's Book of Friends, Charlotte, etc. etc. I stayed up to finish watching all of them. Then it was the time when Oregairu first left a memory in my life. When I first watched Oregairu, I viewed it as a romantic comedy while watching, seen in the first episode, with the monologue of recall when Hikigaya Hachiman saw Yukino. I just thought, isn't it just myself? With Hachiman's black story that is awkward to death, I might even have more than him. The first line at the beginning already exceedingly attracted me, honestly. Youth is a lie, it is nothing but evil. The long monologue afterwards said by Hachiman immediately made me think I have found my confidant. When I had watched the first episode, I was right thinking this is the reality portrayal of my junior and senior high school youth. I shamelessly thought I was the same as Hachiman, having found a resonance from him. His existence made me whip my past life, with the things on me. Things that seemed unreasonable to the people around me had become reasonable. Because I was the same as Hachiman, was the kind of person who was marginalized in school interpersonal communication. Because I had changed class 3 times, as a result, I had never attended any high school graduation gathering in my high school summer holiday, even didn't have a graduation photo. I couldn't deal with familyship well. I learned arts so as to enroll in university. Daily cost was pretty big. Chatter from family or relatives couldn't be avoided, obviously, since from their points of view, those kids who learn arts are not engaging in work. Worse than those kids who learn about cultural lessons. Even if they can enroll in university, they are still weak. Combined with those black story left in junior high school, this is why I was attracted so bad. In addition, I believe it is not only me. Most of you in front of the screen are likely the same. Because us otaku have a common characteristic that we despise a lot of things and phenomena in real life. This despising is either because we don't want to own it or desire to own but aren't able to own. For instance, school, romance, and whatnot. Of course, this statement is not that absolute, it varies from person to person. Speaking of myself, I'm the latter, who desires to own but ain't able to own. I know why I watch anime is because of my inability in reality and family conflicts. I cannot help but look for solace in the anime world, so back then I was just an otaku. I had got a way of doing things from Hachiman, like the kind of self-destructive behavior he does. Certainly, I had never done such a behavior like that. To be honest, if we do that in reality, we are much more miserable than Hachiman. He self-destruct, but there are people who understand him. How about us? Who cares? Even our closest parents can't understand you. You let Watermelon who wore anime clothing with me try to understand me. It is no different from tragedy. At that time, I was still able to distinguish anime and reality, but Hachiman enlightened me. I started agreeing that solitude is something necessary. Like he said, a lonely soul does not need a place of batters. Having a final resting place where they can always come back is because their lives are phantoms of interpersonal relationships, wallowing in the boring relationship cycle to hug together for warmth. Also feeling that they can't find the real meaning of self-existence. But in fact, if there's none in the first place, then there's just none. They haven't thought too much about it, and also don't care about it, because they live in their youth, enjoying everything of youth. But the me influenced by Hachiman thinks all of these are just hilarious. The thing they're going after is just bogus. Seeing that they befriend others, it always causes lots of conflicts. Seeing that they fall in love, they break up today and make up with each other tomorrow. A certain person who is another gender has a hand in it and never gives up. It gives me a headache just watching that. Seeing that they bother for such things and struggle is like seeing a bunch of crickets fighting in a bottle. However, what about me then? Only have a few friends. Communications with classmates are starting to become more tiresome than before, because the me after having watched Olegailu simply think it is not necessary anymore. I need to live for myself, constructing a spiritual world that belongs to me only. Others don't understand me because what I think is unique. Others struggle against depression because they couldn't jump out of the frame of reality. The me back then always thought that they don't have the so-called selves at all, do they? Thereby, I like to choose the seats at the back every time when it was necessary to rearrange the seats order, because in this way I could see all of my classmates. I like to observe their behavior once it came to recess. I discussed things with my friend often with a judgmental perspective. Actually, there's another reason why I did that. That's because I learned art in second senior grade. The major I learned was film-wise. Teachers required us to observe lives in order to cultivate thinking. Then with Olegailu, there existed a reasonable cause that I could act like what I just mentioned. It produced such a me at that time. Now looking back on it, I feel like I had an extreme Chunibyo sickness back then, or rather I fell into some kind of state like the spirits of RQ. They have love and I don't. That's because the lonely, arrogant soul doesn't need the sentiments that will get to it. They care about the people around them, care about their expectations and looks. I act like this that can avoid all the unnecessary disturbance. They agonize over and struggle against youth, but what about me? To think of it, wasn't it the same at that time? Just the form was different. They agonized because of friendships, love, etc. These kinds of factors in real life. Aren't I kinda the same? Merely because I hadn't owned any of those things or I just didn't want to pay attention to it. They agonize because of having, while I agonize because of not having. After they have all these things, they have to solve these problems, while I don't. Therefore, I have to constantly watch anime to remedy these problems. Watching different anime relating to the characters in anime is the equivalent of reenacting to myself these experiences and emotions in reality that didn't exist to begin with. Wasn't it the way I struggled against youth? Liaju is youth, otaku is also youth. Simply depends on how you choose to live and what methods you use to solve. The interpersonal problems that exist in the reality showed in Oregairu denies the statement of youthful beauty. But in fact, watching it to the end, the initial Hajimon has changed his behavior along with the incidents he encounters in senior high school also starts to reflect. Hajimon has grown up, while we need to grow up as well. The setting the author eventually gave Hajimon was a good ending, but lives will never. Even if we are Hajimon, we don't have a service club. We don't have a teacher like Hiratsuka Shizuka to guide us. Not to mention to encounter the kind of girls like Yukinoshita Yukino and Yuigahama Yui. Even if you have encountered them, they are not yours. Even if we are Hachiman, we are more miserable than the Hachiman in Oregairu. We don't have the handsomeness when making the self-destruction. There are no those domineering lines when we think about something in our heads. We will only become more marginalized, let alone we don't have the courage that Hachiman has, which can change the people around by harming himself. We also can't be like him to precisely read others' hearts without the Yukino and Yui standing around Hachiman. We watch Oregairu. Seeing Hachimon in Oregairu has been going along the way. It makes us find some resonance from it. Makes us open a way of finding our genuine things. Makes the you in front of the screen listen to me chattering. Last but not the least, please don't forget yourself. Hachimon's youth has ended. Our youth is still going on. We have found resonance and understand things of you from him. However, we have to jump out of Oregairu, substitute into reality, and reflect on ourselves. Although I watch Oregairu every year, I get a new comprehension on it every time. To the me in high school life or the me that is gonna graduate in university, the genuine thing Hachiman says, we have been looking for it and understanding. I think genuine things, this thing doesn't have a unified answer, because everyone has a different experience of life. Hachiman has the genuine thing that he has been looking for. We too have that, but it is different from his. Since it only belongs to ourselves, it's something we have to pursue. Some people might have found it, some might be still days in life path. As for me, I haven't found the genuine thing that belongs to me only. Deep down in my heart, I clearly understand there's still a journey while I'm seeking my genuine thing. But with this process, isn't it just my you? The story ends here. I don't know how much you guys can relate to it, how much of a trash or how much of a chunibyo do you think it is? For me, I can relate to almost all of the story, but I can't say too much, because I haven't even gone through my high school life. One thing I'm certain of is that I'm becoming less social. I don't know how to deal with those interpersonal relationships, besides there's no one I can talk about anime, so I upload these stupid looking videos here. I try to strike up any conversation about anime, but I get upset every time. I know ultimately Oregairu is still an anime piece, it's not real. We can't solve problems by hurting selves. As I said, it depicts youth in a different way which is way more realistic than others. Humans eventually have to become mature. I don't know if I can say that, to be honest. I'm also one of those who are days in my life path. I don't know what my passion is, what job I wanna employ. After I graduate from high school or university, what should I do then? We all have been seeking that genuine thing. Speaking of graduation, I actually really wanna perform some anime songs on piano in my high school graduation ceremony and the stage. I haven't told anyone about it. It is kinda bullshit because I haven't prepared anything for it. I haven't practiced, haven't got permission to perform, so yeah, I don't even know if I can. Also because I've seen not a few piano videos made by animes and Halcyon. I was affected, definitely. Another thing is that my favorite and best online friend, which is Amyad ES. As the name suggests, I got the name from him. Just take Amyad out and then change the last two characters. I was impressed. To this day, I'm still impressed by we traded something online and he isn't scared of I will deceive him. Also, I'm not scared of he will. We cherish this online ship more than money. I'm very happy for it. Maybe because my interpersonal relationship is bad, like pretty bad I guess. But I'm not sure if he still remembers me, like he's gonna graduate from university, gonna be working while I'm still a kid in high school. I knew him almost in the beginning of COVID-19, I think. Really, looking back on these memories really warms me. Here's a tangent. My birthday is in next month. I'm gonna hit my 17 years old. Also hit my 30, 18 next year. Here I wanna say happy birthday to myself. Watashi ni o tanjoubi o medetou. Alright, hope you have been enjoying this video. If you like it, please share it. It's been Yard KG. See you in the next one. Mata!